Welcome back to Fast Money. Rat poison, baby brains, and turds. Just a few of the adjectives used by billionaires Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Charlie Munger at the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting to describe Bitcoin. Now, Buffett is the Oracle of Omaha, but BK is the crypto baller from the Upper East Side. He's over at the Plasma, where he's going to rebuff Buffett. Okay, so BK, we are going to play a soundbite of what was said and then get your response. Here's what Buffett said about the speculative nature of Bitcoin.
When you buy non-productive assets, all you're counting on is whether the next person is going to pay you more because they're even more excited about another next person coming along. But the asset itself is creating nothing.
BK, your response.
Well, my response is this. Here's the bullet point. Buffett said the same thing about commodities, and it's just a difference in investment styles. Buffett doesn't think that commodities have any value either. But when you're talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and I want to be clear, my investments are on cryptocurrencies in general, not just Bitcoin, but they are the fuel for the blockchain. And combining a token or a cryptocurrency with a blockchain is a powerful, powerful economic model that we haven't seen before, and I don't think Mr. Buffett is seeing it either.
Also on Squawk Box this morning, Berkshire Hathaway Vice Chairman Charlie Munger said this about the cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin is worthless artificial gold, which, if it succeeded, would facilitate a lot of illicit activity. Now, that is not something I think the world needs.
Thoughts, BK?
Well, here are my thoughts. First of all, this is your classic castigation before investigation. I fell into that hole in 2012 before I did a deep dive in it. But let's look at what's happened here. Let's look at our thing. Okay, Bitcoin is a ledger. Gold is just a rock. That's not the diss on gold, but gold doesn't do anything. What Bitcoin does, it's a big electronic ledger that we can all see. And it has the potential to disrupt a 600-year-old process dating back to the Medicis when they first came up with double entry accounting. Essentially what we're doing is we're taking out of that double entry accounting, putting it on the blockchain, putting it on the internet, and making it software. And that's all these things are. They're software with a token attached, and it's a disruptive technology. That's why I want to be invested in, and that's why I think Charlie needs to do a little more investigation.
How about this notion that it's a fuel for illicit activity? I mean, it is true that now criminals have switched primarily to cryptocurrencies when dealing with buying arms, buying hitmen, et cetera.
Yeah, that's been the argument for a while, but the $100 bill is actually used for more illicit activities, which I believe Wells Fargo deals in. And I think they got a pretty big stake in Wells Fargo.
All right, lastly, Bill Gates also chimed in during the same interview. Here's what he said.
There's some really good technology in terms of sharing databases and verifying transactions that is talked about as blockchain. That is a good thing. Bitcoin and ICOs, I agree completely. It's one of the crazier speculative things.
And here is a very important question. Can you like blockchain and not like Bitcoin?
I am so glad that Bill Gates said this, because it does come to the heart of it. So let's look at what we're talking about here. This is a potential big tech disruptor. And can you like blockchain? There are some applications for enterprise blockchain. I think they're going to be very useful. But just like the intranet was how companies kind of tiptoed into the internet back in the early 90s, enterprise blockchain and private blockchains, I think, are companies' ways of tiptoeing today. And eventually, that will all be pushed to the public chain or the decentralized internet, or what we're calling the DNet. And that needs to have a token. They have to be paired to have that model. That's the powerful economic model that all three of these billionaires are missing.
Well, Buffett and Munger's comments had Bitcoin retreating from 10,000, a level it's failed repeatedly to regain. So, Beeks, when do you think Bitcoin will return to 10,000? And do you think these comments from the billionaires had anything to do with the retreat?
I don't think they had anything to do with the retreat. If anything, it probably added to the Bitcoin Illuminati, who actually would not want Buffett and Munger to be in this. But let's take a look at this. You know, when are we going to get back to 10,000? predictions are very difficult about the future, but let's give it a shot here. Here we are. We've had this tremendous, tremendous rally off the lows. Remember, this was 6,000. That was Easter weekend. I got to tell you, for those of us who are in the market, that was a pretty tough weekend, but we've rallied significantly. 10,000 coming in just about right there. That's resistance. I still think we head higher. Remember, we got a couple catalysts coming up, most particularly next week here in New York, Blockchain Week in New York. We have the Consensus Investment Conference coming up. That's the biggest conference of the year. That is typically very positive for cryptocurrencies.
All right, so you've all heard BK's passionate defense of Bitcoin, but who is actually right here, the crypto baller or the Oracle of Omaha? Let's vote. Tim, what do you say?
Well, I mean, first of all, it was BK against the world, really. So good job, BK. I give BK the win, 2-1. Again, I think the almost hyperbolic claims about Bitcoin were easy to have a thoughtful discussion about today, and I think that's what we've done.
Dan.
I'm with BK Coin over here.
Nice.
I just want to say that, I mean, listen, these guys are legendary investors. I think what's going on is very different. What's going on with BK and his pals over in Bushwick, it's going to be something that they'll probably be writing about for 50 years, or in 50 years, that sort of thing. So I don't know why you'd be a skeptic when the top 4 coins have a $440 billion, or, the total coin market cap is $440 billion. Let's be optimistic here.
Guy, clean sweep?
When it comes to crypto, BK is greater. That's a greater than sign,
Yes,
greater than
I
the Oracle.
understand.
And look, BK's written books. BK's spent the last 5 years of his life
Dedicating every moment to learning
and
about
it's true.
this.
It is absolutely true. And respectfully, I'm not certain Mr. Buffett or Mr. Munger have put in that kind of time. So I'm with the BK on this one.